The warm summer breeze of the Hamptons has always carried with it an undeniable sense of luxury, escapism, and high-stakes social drama that millions of viewers around the globe have come to find completely intoxicating. For years, reality television has served as a unique window into the lives of the young, glamorous, and fiercely ambitious individuals who flock to these exclusive coastal enclaves to escape the claustrophobic grind of the city. Inside these sprawling multi-million-dollar estates, friendships are forged in the heat of midday pool parties, and alliances are shattered under the neon glow of upscale nightclubs. It is a world where the boundaries between public performance and private reality become entirely blurred, creating an addictive spectacle that keeps audiences permanently glued to their screens season after season. Viewers do not merely watch these shows, they invest their emotions deeply into the shifting dynamics of the group, analyzing every glance, every argument, and every sudden shift in allegiance as if they were dealing with members of their own social circles. The sheer unpredictability of these human interactions is what drives the cultural phenomenon, transforming ordinary summer vacations into epic sagas of love, betrayal, and redemption. As the cameras roll continuously, capturing every vulnerable confession and every explosive confrontation, the participants find themselves navigating a treacherous landscape where fame and heartbreak are often inextricably linked, and where the sun never sets on the drama. Yet, beneath the glittering surface of endless champagne toasts and carefree beach days, a deeper, far more turbulent undercurrent is always at play in the realm of premium reality entertainment. As the production trucks prepare to roll back into town for the highly anticipated 11th season over the pivotal 4th of July weekend, the atmosphere surrounding this iconic franchise is thick, with an unprecedented level of tension and quiet anxiety. The turning of the seasons always brings a natural sense of anticipation, but this particular summer feels fundamentally different, marked by a palpable whisper of massive structural transformation that is sending shockwaves through the entire fandom. In the fast-paced universe of modern television, stagnation is the ultimate enemy, and producers are constantly tasked with the delicate balancing act of maintaining the show's core identity while injecting fresh energy to keep the narrative vibrant. However, when the foundation of a beloved friend group begins to fracture from within, the resulting fallout can completely reshape the landscape of the series in ways that no one could have possibly predicted. The upcoming holiday weekend, which traditionally signifies the explosive kickoff of summer festivities and the commencement of principal photography, is no longer just a celebration of sun and freedom. It has become the focal point of a major turning point that promises to redefine the future of the show entirely. To truly understand how we arrived at this dramatic crossroads, one must look back at the chaotic trajectory of the preceding months. A period defined by meteoric rises, unexpected romances, and the sudden arrival of international star power. Not so long ago, a striking new figure emerged from across the globe, bringing an entirely different energy to the established social hierarchy of the house. Hailing from the sun-drenched coast of Melbourne, Australia, this charismatic individual had already tasted the intense pressures of the reality television spotlight in his home country. Having navigated the complex and often brutal world of televised romance as a high-profile lead, his transition from the hyper-focused, heavily formatted search for love in the Southern Hemisphere to the loose, unpredictable, and highly collaborative environment of an American summer share was a fascinating cultural experiment that immediately captivated audiences. With his modeling background and easygoing oceanic charm, he seemed perfectly poised to become a central pillar of the franchise, a fresh face capable of anchoring new storylines and bridging the gap between rival factions within the house. His presence injected a sense of worldly sophistication and unresolved romantic potential that kept both his fellow cast members and the viewing public utterly fascinated. Setting the stage for a narrative arc that would ultimately challenge everything the audience thought they knew about reality TV longevity. As we begin to peel back the layers of this unfolding Hollywood mystery and examine the hidden forces driving TV's major television shakeups, staying fully informed becomes absolutely essential for anyone who wants to truly understand the inner workings of the entertainment industry. If you want to make sure you never miss a single breaking update, exclusive insider report, or deep dive analysis into the captivating world of your favorite reality stars and television franchises, please take a quick moment to hit the subscribe button and join our growing community of dedicated pop culture enthusiasts. By engaging with our channel, you ensure that you are always the first to receive comprehensive coverage of the major entertainment events and behind-the-scenes secrets that shape the cultural conversation. The landscape of modern television is shifting faster than ever before, with casting decisions and production updates breaking at a relentless pace. And our goal is to provide you with the detailed context and nuanced storytelling necessary to make sense of all the chaos. As we prepare to delve even deeper into the specific details of the dramatic transformations occurring behind the closed doors of production, having you along for the journey makes the exploration of these intricate celebrity narratives all the more rewarding. The lingering aftermath of the monumental 10th season has left a trail of emotional devastation and unanswered questions that Conti knew to haunt the collective consciousness of the fanbase. It was a cycle defined not by the usual superficial arguments over house chores or party planning, but by the profound and painful crumbling of long-term relationships, the shattering of core best friend dynamics, and the revelation of secrets so massive they threatened to tear the fabric of the entire network community apart. When the cameras finally stopped rolling on that fateful season finale, the individuals involved were left to pick up the pieces of their fractured lives in the harsh light of reality, away from the comforting editing rooms of television production. The public social media reflections offered by the cast members in the wake of these events have been telling, filled with bittersweet acknowledgments of undying love amidst undeniable change, hinting at a reality where the bond of the group remains intact even as the individuals themselves are forced to scatter in entirely separate directions. The stage is now set for a complete reinvention of the franchise, as the vacuum left by these monumental shifts prepares to be filled by new faces, new conflicts, and a completely altered social dynamic that will test the loyalty of the viewers and the resilience of the remaining cast like never before, laying the groundwork for a dramatic revelation that will completely alter how we view the upcoming season. The illusion of stability in the high-stakes world of reality television can vanish in an instant, and the true extent of the chaos gripping the franchise has finally been laid bare. At the absolute center of this unfolding television storm is the shocking official confirmation that Ben Waddell is leaving the series after participating in just a single, highly talked-about season. The striking model from Melbourne, Australia, who managed to capture the immediate attention of the American audience with his effortless charm, is not making the journey back to the Hamptons for the upcoming 11th season. But the departure is not an isolated event. It is a packaged exit that fundamentally reshapes the entire narrative landscape of the show, as Waddell is departing the reality series alongside his girlfriend, Sabrina Belle. This sudden double departure has sent massive shockwaves through the entire production, leaving fans completely stunned and frantically searching for answers as to why a couple with so much remaining storyline potential would walk away from the cameras so quickly. In an official statement designed to manage the growing public frenzy, Waddell's management team attempted to paint a picture of mutual respect and enduring affection, stating that Ben and Sabrina had the absolute greatest time last summer, and emphasizing that there is still an immense amount of love that exists between the core friend group and the entire production family. Yet, despite these comforting words, the vague conclusion of their statement, suggesting that only time will tell what the future holds while they look forward to what lies ahead, has done very little to quiet the intense speculations surrounding their abrupt and unexpected exit to fully understand the gravity of Ben Waddell's departure. One must analyze the complex romantic history and the television trajectory that brought him to this specific crossroads. Long before he ever stepped foot into the elite summer share house, Waddell had already established himself as a major reality television commodity in the Southern Hemisphere, serving as one of the prominent leads on the 11th season of the widely discussed series, The Bachelor Australia, back in 2023. His time on that intensely structured dating program was marked by a highly unconventional finale that defied the traditional expectations of the franchise, rather than offering a traditional, heavily produced marriage proposal. Waddell chose to enter into a committed relationship with contestant McKenna Leah, prioritizing a real-world connection over a televised spectacle. However, the immense pressures of public scrutiny proved too difficult to navigate, and the couple announced their official split shortly after the emotional finale aired. Seeking a completely fresh start and a chance to reinvent his public persona, Waddell made the massive leap to American television, officially joining the main cast ahead of the monumental 10th season. It was a casting gamble that promised to inject an exotic, international dynamic into the established social circle, and for a while, It seemed to be paying off spectacularly as Waddell integrated himself into the tight-knit group of seasoned reality veterans. The plot thickened significantly midway through the season when Sabrina Belle made her highly anticipated entry into the How set, an arrival that had been carefully foreshadowed by Waddell's own emotional confessions to his roommates. Weeks before she physically appeared on screen, a visibly smitten Waddell had confessed to his fellow cast members that he was falling in love with this girl more and more every single day, explicitly declaring to anyone who would listen that Sabrina was his absolute priority number one. When Belle finally arrived to join the summer festivities, she revealed to the curious cast that their relationship was far more complex than a simple whirlwind romance, explaining that they had initially met in March 2025, decided to go their separate ways due to bad timing, and had only recently reconnected before filming. In a particularly vulnerable confessional moment that highlighted his deep emotional investment, Waddell shared that when he reached back out to Sabrina to let her know he was thinking of her, she was remarkably open, positive, and completely rearing to go. He confessed to feeling incredibly special that she was willing to give him another chance, admitting that he cared about her deeply, wanted the relationship to succeed long-term, and was, in his own raw words, nervous as fuck about making it work under the harsh, unyielding glare of television cameras. However, the departure of Ben and Sabrina is only a fraction of the massive casting crisis currently facing the network, as their exit directly coincides with an even more devastating blow to the show's foundational core. On the exact same day that Waddell's departure was confirmed, reports surfaced that longtime series anchor Amanda Batula is also exiting the program, a revelation that has completely paralyzed the fanbase with disbelief. This double blow comes hot on the heels of the forced ousting of another major personality, Wes Wilson, earlier this month, completing a total purge of the personalities who drove the single most explosive storylines of the previous year. To understand why the entire production is in a state of absolute structural collapse, one must examine the dark, interconnected web of romance scandals that completely defined the 10th season. The previous cycle of the show witnessed the public agonizing disintegration of Amanda Batula's marriage to her now estranged husband, Kyle Cooke, a foundational relationship that had served as the literal backbone of the franchise for nearly a decade. The former golden couple sent shockwaves through the entertainment world when they officially announced their separation in January, signaling the definitive end of an era and leaving the house dynamics completely fractured along deep emotional fault lines. But the true, unadulterated tension that broke the cast beyond repair occurred in March, when Amanda Batula and Wes Wilson officially confirmed a massive, highly secretive romantic relationship that they had actively hidden from their closest castmates for months. This secret affair was an absolute betrayal of the highest order within the house, directly targeting two of the most volatile personalities in the entire social circle, Amanda's estranged husband Kyle Cooke and Ciara Miller, who was not only Batula's former absolute best friend, but also Wes Wilson's highly protective ex-girlfriend. The revelation of this hidden romance completely shattered the remaining trust within the friend group, transforming former best friends into bitter rivals and creating an environment so toxic, hostile, and emotionally radioactive that filming a cohesive season became a near impossible task for production. Sources close to the internal workings of the show have confirmed that principal photography for the 11th season is scheduled to begin over the high-stakes 4th of July weekend, meaning that producers are currently working around the clock in a desperate, frantic race against time to rebuild a functional cast from the literal ashes of these ruined relationships, setting the stage for a dramatic transition that will either completely save the franchise or destroy it forever. The total dismantling of the existing social hierarchy over a single production cycle marks the definitive conclusion of one era and the uncertain, high-stakes birth of another for this iconic coastal franchise. When the news finally settled that Ben Waddell, Sabrina Belle, Amanda Batula, and Wes Wilson would all be absent from the upcoming Summer House share, the true reality of the situation began to dawn on the global audience. This was no longer just a standard seasonal casting adjustment designed to trim the narrative fat. It was a total, sweeping institutional overhaul forced by the raw, untamed consequences of human emotion and unprecedented interpersonal betrayal. For the remaining cast members who must now unpack their bags in the Hamptons over the 4th of July weekend, the familiar hallways of the sprawling estate will undoubtedly feel like an echo chamber of past conflicts. A physical space haunted by the ghosts of friendships and marriages that took nearly a decade to build, and only a matter of months to completely destroy. The production team finds itself in uncharted waters, tasked with introducing an entirely new crop of personalities who must somehow fill the massive, cavernous void left by individuals who had become genuine cultural fixtures, creating a fascinating experiment in audience loyalty and reality television longevity. For Ben Waddell, the journey away from the relentless glare of the cameras represents a deliberate, calculated step towards self-preservation and the cultivation of a genuine, real-world future with Sabrina Belle. On the very day that the emotional and highly chaotic 10th season reached its broadcast conclusion, Waddell took to his public social media platform to share a deeply reflective message that served as both a heartfelt farewell and an attempt to control the narrative surrounding his departure. Alongside a carefully selected carousel of imagery featuring himself, Sabrina, and several of their prominent castmates smiling during happier times, he wrote that a lot had happened since last summer, but emphasized that one thing remaining is that there is still a lot of love within this group that will never change. This public posture of unity, curated carefully by his professional team, underscores a profound truth about the modern reality star experience. The relationships formed under these intense conditions are deeply real, but they are also incredibly fragile, requiring the protective barrier of privacy to actually survive and thrive outside the toxic ecosystem of the entertainment industry. Having already witnessed the swift and painful collapse of his highly publicized relationship with McKenna Leah following his time on the dating circuit in Australia, Waddell was acutely aware of the dangers that come with letting a television network dictate the terms of his romantic life. By choosing to walk away from the financial security and immense cultural platform of a primetime television slot, Waddell and Belle have prioritized their partnership over the fleeting allure of reality fame, a move that is as admirable as it is rare in the contemporary entertainment landscape. Their departure allows them to return to a life where their milestones are not edited for dramatic effect, where their arguments are not picked apart by millions of anonymous internet commentators, and where their love can grow at its own natural pace rather than being accelerated to satisfy production deadlines. Sabrina Belle's mid-season entry had injected a powerful dose of authentic, unfiltered romance into a house that was already heavily plagued by cynicism and deceit, and her willingness to give Waddell a second chance after their initial separation in early 2025 stands as one of the few genuinely positive, hopeful storylines of the entire year. As they transition back into the private sector, their legacy on the show will remain that of a couple who looked into the abyss of televised relationship drama and actively chose to step back, choosing each other over the demands of a ravenous audience, a decision that will undoubtedly protect their bond but leaves the show without its central, stabilizing romantic anchor. In stark contrast, the absolute devastation left behind by the catastrophic fallout between Amanda Batula, West Wilson, Kyle Cooke, and Ciara Miller will continue to reverberate through the halls of the network for years to come, serving as a cautionary tale about the high cost of mixing genuine real-life relationships with televised entertainment. The unraveling of Amanda and Kyle's marriage was not just a personal tragedy for the couple. It was a foundational shift for a show that had built its entire narrative structure around their shared journey from turbulent dating to a lavish wedding and the subsequent struggles of martial life. When that relationship finally cracked open permanently in January, it created an emotional vacuum that rapidly dragged the rest of the cast into a state of civil war, completely destroying the remaining shreds of loyalty that held the group together. The subsequent revelation in March regarding Amanda's secret, highly controversial relationship with West Wilson was the ultimate killing blow, a betrayal so profound and multi-layered that it made future collaboration between the core cast members completely impossible. By engaging in a hidden romance, Batula and Wilson did not just hurt their respective former partners, they completely violated the sacred, unwritten rule of the house, which demands absolute transparency among friends, rendering the entire concept of a shared summer vacation completely farcical. The forced removal of West Wilson and the voluntary, yet highly necessary exit of Amanda Batula represent a desperate attempt by network executives to excise the toxicity from the program before it completely consumes the franchise's commercial viability. As production crews descend upon the Hamptons for the high-stakes holiday weekend, the atmosphere is guaranteed to be thick with apprehension, as the remaining veterans are forced to look at a room full of strangers while trying to recreate the lightning-in-a-bottle magic that made the show a global phenomenon in the first place. The stakes could not possibly be higher for the network, as television audiences are notoriously fickle when it comes to massive, sudden cast turnovers, often preferring to abandon a show entirely rather than invest their time and emotion into a completely unfamiliar roster of personalities. This upcoming 11th season will serve as the ultimate test of the franchise's brand power, proving whether the audience was truly invested in the glamorous lifestyle and geographic setting of the Hamptons, or if they were simply captivated by the specific, deeply flawed human beings who inhabited that world for the past decade. As the cameras begin to capture the first awkward introductions and the initial tentative attempts at forming new alliances, the true cost of last summer's scandals will finally be tallied in the cold, unyielding metrics of television ratings and cultural relevance. Ultimately, the grand saga of this tumultuous television family reminds us that reality television is a high-stakes gamble where the house always wins, and where the human cost of entertainment is often far higher than the viewers realize. The departure of Ben, Sabrina, Amanda, and West marks the definitive end of an unforgettable chapter in pop culture history, leaving behind a rich legacy of dramatic peaks, devastating heartbreaks, and unforgettable television moments that will be analyzed by dedicated fans for generations to come. As the franchise marches forward into its uncertain future over the 4th of July weekend, the viewers can only watch from afar, hoping that the new generation of housemates can live up to the impossible standards set by their predecessors, while wishing those who left the house the peace and stability that only exists when the cameras are turned off for good.